Hello my friends and welcome to This Simple Sober Life. I am Joshua and I help others make small changes in their lives so that they can create a life of awesome. Welcome my friends, it is Sunday and it is a beautiful day out. Well, as beautiful as it can get in December. It's sunny at least, it's cold. And so for today, for our low carb recipe, I am going to make a comfort food that I absolutely love. It's a low carb chili. Now, I've never had a low carb chili before, but my sister gave me the idea and I thought I'd run with it. Now, apparently, I don't think of vegetables as having a lot of carbs in it, but apparently I was wrong and I can't have beans in the chili. Beans are apparently loaded with carbs. They're a legume, not a vegetable, apparently. So I had to do away with the beans, but I did find a recipe, and I know that there's a big debate about whether to put beans in chili or not to put beans in chili. In fact, if you're in the grocery store and you say, I like beans in the chili, you will get shanked. Swear to God, it's crazy. It's that diabolical. It's insane. So I am gonna make a low carb chili. Now, I'm not really gonna follow the recipe too closely because I wanted to do it in the crock pot and they wanted it to simmer on the stove for like a couple of hours. Well, there's a 2-year-old running around, so there's no way I'm gonna have something simmering on the stovetop for like 4 hours. That's insane. So I'm gonna brown up the beef and then throw all of the ingredients in the crock pot and let it go. Hopefully, it turns out all right. In addition, I'm going to be making a breakfast pizza. Now, over the past couple of weeks, I've done a lot of different things with eggs, and I've created a couple of different videos on that. So if you like that kind of stuff, then I will definitely link that down below. But I needed to try something new. I'm getting a little tired of my egg scrambles or my little egg cups or whatever like that. So I wanted to try something new, and I'm going to be making a low carb pizza dough. And I will take you through the process. I have never done anything like this before, so we could be in for a disaster. I don't know. But I am going to do something a little bit different with this video. I'm going to lay out all of the stuff that I've got from Walmart and show you what I got and how much. Because part of changing my life was also trying to save more money. And I believe that in meal prepping, I've saved quite a bit of money as opposed to eating out. You know, I used to eat out all the time and I was spending hundreds of dollars every single month on food. You know, you don't really think about it when you go through Taco Bell or McDonald's or whatever, grab a couple of quarter pounders or a couple of burritos or whatever, that it really, really adds up. And I was spending an exorbitant amount of money on food. Well, I found over the past couple of weeks in meal prepping and actually planning out my breakfast and my lunch for when I go to work, I'm saving a ton of money, which is super exciting. So I'm going to point that out as we go. Anyway, Callie just woke up from a nap. I just woke up from a nap. And so I had to have my iced coffee. I love this stuff. And so let's get cooking. So for the chili, we had a number of things at home, so I didn't have to buy it. So that cut down on a little bit of the cost, like the spices. We had that at home. But I got ground beef, the beef broth we had at home, chili powder, cumin. I'm gonna put in a green pepper, a white onion, a little jalapeno for spice, some tomato paste, diced tomato, and in order to give it a little more substance, I'm gonna put it over cauliflower rice. Now, this entire meal for the week is costing me about $15. And so that's about $3 per day for lunch. Now you go to McDonald's, you cannot get a value meal for $3. You go to Taco Bell, you can't get, you know, enough to fill you up for $3. So this is awesome. And not to mention, it's gonna be freezing out this week. And so this is gonna be a great way to keep me warm and satisfy my hunger. Now for breakfast, I'm gonna be making a breakfast pizza that I found online. And for the dough, I'm going to need almond flour. Now this stuff is ridiculously expensive. It's a 2-pound bag and it costs about $12. You know, you can get regular flour for like $1 for a 2-pound bag or 5-pound bag or something like that. So this is crazy expensive. But I'm only going to be using 1/3 of a cup for this recipe. So I'll be able to use this over and over and over again and divide the cost between the different meals that I use it for. I'm also going to need a couple of different types of cheeses. Mozzarella, I got a queso cheese for instead of tomato sauce, because tomatoes apparently are a little higher in carbs. They recommended creating a queso sauce. And for that, I'm gonna need the cheese and the cream cheese, and then also some cheddar cheese. And for the toppings, I'm gonna be using eggs, bacon. They suggested bacon, sausage. You can pretty much use whatever meat you want. And I'm gonna throw in a couple of vegetables. So I'm gonna use a red pepper, green pepper, red onion for a little bit of a kick, and then some mushrooms. And this entire thing, I'm cutting the cost down in half because a lot of this stuff, I'm only gonna be using half of it. Like I'm only gonna be using 6 eggs, about a half of the bacon, half of the cheese, and only 1/3 of a cup of the almond flour. So I cut the price in half, and that puts it at about $18. So for $6 a meal, I've actually got something to eat that is satisfying and better than, you know, one of those breakfast burritos that I can get from a vending machine or something. Now, one thing I haven't talked about, and I've been doing since I've started this low carb thing, is taking snacks in. So I'll prep my breakfast, I'll prep my lunch, and then I'll also take some snacks in. A lot of times it's nuts. I've been doing a mixed nut with different flavors of almonds and peanuts, but I needed a change, so I went with pistachios. This was about $12 for the bag. I also got some celery that I can dip in peanut butter and hummus. And I've been noticing I've been having a sweet tooth after eating. And it's Christmas time. There are a lot of cookies and candies and cakes around here that are very, very tempting. And I have to admit, I have divulged a number of times. I've kind of indulged a number of times. So I wanted to give these dark chocolate roasted almonds a try to see if that would kind of curb that hunger, that need for some chocolate or something sweet. And these actually only have 6 net grams of carbs for about 24 nuts. So a handful of nuts, 6 carbs, I think I can do that, and it'll curb that chocolate appetite. Now, Brian's mom was in for the week, and she brought in a lot of presents for Katie and Brian and Callie, and this was one of the gifts that Katie got. It's a brand new apron. So I don't think it really works for me. It doesn't cover up my manly chest. So I might have to switch out and just take a chance on getting my shirt dirty. But I thought I'd show it off. Anyway, I'm gonna put this food away and get ready. I'm gonna start by cooking the chili, because I can just brown up the hamburger and throw the rest of it in the crock pot and do the breakfast thing while that's moving along. We are gonna start off by browning 1.5 pounds of ground beef. Now, I had gotten 2.5 pounds, so that leaves me about 1 pound left over to do with something else later in the week if I want something different, maybe a cheeseburger or something. No bun, of course. But while that is getting ready to brown, I am going to chop up my green pepper and my onion. All right, I have never chopped up a jalapeno before. I'm gonna go ahead and leave the seeds in for a little extra kick, but yeah, this could go really disastrously. All right, with the meat all browned and the vegetables chopped, I'm just gonna drain the hamburger and then just kind of toss it all into the crock pot. All right, we'll throw in the beef. We'll throw in the veggies. We'll throw in the diced tomatoes. The tomato paste. Calls for 2 tablespoons of chili powder, which means I'll add about half a can. And a teaspoon of cumin. And I like cumin, so I'm gonna add just a hair more. And then we're gonna add 2 cups of beef broth. I'm gonna give that a little stir. Get all that stuff mixed up. And I'm gonna let that sit on medium for about 4 hours. Just let all those flavors kind of mix in together. All right, now that we have the chili rocking and rolling in the crock pot, we're gonna start making the breakfast pizza. Now, I have never, I take that back. I've tried to make dough one time, and I tried to make cookie dough from scratch. This was when I was, you know, an early teen or whatever. I was at home alone. Thought I'd make some cookies just to have something to do. And the recipe called for like, I don't know, it was a quarter cup of like baking powder, and I added baking soda instead. And the dough started expanding like out of the bowl. Like it started taking over the refrigerator. It just started growing and growing and growing. And I got nervous, so I took the bowl and I ran all the way out to the woods out back, and I threw the dough into the woods. To this day, I'm pretty sure that there is a dough thing out in the woods. Like it's come to life and it's like eating animals and things like that. So I don't go in the woods anymore back at home. But I am going to attempt to make some pizza dough. And this calls for, I'm gonna have to follow the recipe to the T on this one. There's no improvising on this. So I'm gonna check the recipe and then you can follow along with that. And of course, as always, I will link the original recipes down below so that you can follow it how you like to follow it. All right. I've gone ahead and measured out 3/4 of a cup of almond flour. I think I may have said 1/3 cup earlier, but it's actually 3/4 of a cup. 2 tablespoons of cream cheese, 1 egg, and 2 cups of mozzarella. And of course, a refill of iced coffee for me. So what we're gonna start off by doing is we are going to start off by putting the cheeses in a microwave safe bowl. So that's the mozzarella and the cream cheese. And we're gonna microwave it at 20-second increments until it's melted. Once your cheese is melted, we'll give it a good stir. Mix up all the cheeses, the cream cheese and the mozzarella. And then we're gonna add an egg, one egg. Give that a stir. And then we're gonna stir in the almond flour. All right, from there we're gonna lay out a large sheet of wax paper or parchment paper. Parchment paper is probably better because it's thicker, but we don't have any. We're gonna plop our dough right on top. Maybe. We're gonna add a second piece of wax paper. And then we're just gonna roll it out to about a 12-inch circle, 12-inch crust. All right. And then we're gonna take the top layer of the wax paper off. That must be why parchment paper would work better. Let's hope this works. And we're gonna transfer this onto a pizza pan. And we're gonna bake this at 425 for 10 minutes until it's golden brown. Stop. Before you put wax paper in the oven, stop. I had to ask my sister, I'm like, what's the difference between wax paper and parchment paper? She's like, well, parchment paper can go in the oven. Apparently don't put wax paper in the oven, it will melt. So if you don't have parchment paper, what I've done is I've sprayed the pizza pan. Let's hope that it works. The dough's really sticky from the cheese, so hopefully it doesn't just stick to her pan and turn into a big loopy mess, but we'll find out in 10 minutes. All right, that crust looks like it turned out pretty good. It's nice and, oh Lord have mercy. Oh, I hate this thing. All right, let's try this again. All right, that pizza dough seemed to turn out pretty good. It's not as crispy as I would like, but I mean, what are you gonna get with cheese and a little bit of flour? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our cheese sauce. This is used in replacement of the tomato sauce that would traditionally go on a pizza. We're gonna add 1.25 cups of heavy whipping cream. I thought we had heavy whipping cream, we did not, and so I replaced it with half and half. We're gonna see how that turns out. We're also gonna add in 2 tablespoons of butter and 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. And we're gonna let that come up to heat and whisk it until that cream cheese is melted. Once your cream cheese is melted, then you can go ahead and add in your regular cheese. The recipe calls for cheddar. I'm gonna use this queso cheese. But you can use any kind of cheese you want. One suggestion was Gruyere, which would be really good. It add a smokiness, but Walmart doesn't carry that fancy cheese. And it calls for 9 ounces. So we'll go ahead and sprinkle that in. And we'll whisk it as it melts. So we'll whisk it and melt it together. There we go. We can see that it's pretty thick, which is good. I was worried about it being really thin since I had to use half and half, but the consistency looks like it's good. Kind of the consistency of what a tomato sauce would be. And I'm gonna add in a little bit of pepper. And I'm gonna let that stay warm because otherwise it'll really thicken up. So I'm gonna reduce my heat down to low. And then I'm gonna get the toppings going. All right, we're gonna start out by frying up some bacon. Toss that into a hot pan. We'll get that nice and crispy and then we'll just kind of chop it up. And while that's frying, I'm gonna work on my egg mixture. For the egg mixture, we're just gonna take 6 eggs, half a dozen eggs. We'll add some salt. Some pepper. And we'll give that a little stir. All right, I've gone ahead and fried up my bacon. I think my heat was too high and I totally burned it, but I'm gonna use it anyway because I hate wasting food and I don't mind burnt bacon as long as it's not totally charred. I'm gonna go ahead and throw in and saute some vegetables. I've got red pepper, green pepper, mushroom. I forgot to chop up an onion, so I am going to just go ahead and forget about that. All right, when your vegetables are done, we'll go ahead and transfer them to their own little bowl. And we'll go ahead and scramble up the eggs. Now we're not gonna cook them all the way through. We want them so that they're just a little bit wet. They'll continue to cook in the oven. All right, that should be good. We'll take those off the heat and then we're gonna start building our pizza. All right, we're gonna start by adding our cheese sauce. We'll just start out with a little bit right now and then kind of spread it out just like you would on a pizza. And we're gonna add the eggs. Let's get those all scrambled up. And we're gonna toss in our veggies. And the bacon. We're gonna top it off with cheddar cheese. And then we're going to throw it right back in the oven at 425 for about 5 minutes, just long enough for that cheese to melt. All right, my friends, we've got that pizza in the oven. I'm gonna tell you right now, I haven't even tried it. It looks really, really good. So I'm really glad that I took the time to work on this and create it. And I can't wait to actually give it a bite. But it took forever. This took way longer than I would ever want to spend on a meal prep for the week. The chili was really easy. It was kind of a dump and go type thing. This took several hours. Now, it was my first time, so that probably had something to do with it. If you want to try this recipe, and if you find that you like it, some things that I'm finding as I'm creating this that might help you save a little bit of time. Make a couple of those doughs, and then I guess like freeze them or throw them in the refrigerator so that you have that ready to go. Also saute up and make your toppings in advance. Make a large quantity of them, and then throw them in the fridge or whatever, so that you can just kind of make your pizza, pop it in the oven, and go. Because this, with the length of time that it took, I could have had, my book written. It took a couple of hours, and it's dark now. The family has left for church, and I started probably about 3:30. So that is a definite negative for this recipe. Next time I'll definitely try and prep ahead if I like it enough to even try it again. But that's just a quick note while the pizza's cooking in the oven. So, but it looks good. All right, my friends, we'll check back in a few minutes. There you have it, my friends. The breakfast pizza is complete. It does look absolutely incredible. I'm really excited to try that tomorrow. The crock-pot chili still has maybe another hour or so left, but that's starting to smell the house really good. So I think I might be in for a good treat. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to comment down below, like this video, and subscribe. If you have other low-carb recipes that you'd like me to give a try, please comment down below. I am always looking for something new. I'm tired of making the same old chicken thing. So I'm trying to spice it up a little bit to keep going on this awesome journey. Thank you, my friends. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday, and I will see you soon. Take care. Bye. Oh. All right. So that only took forever. Getting the dishes done and getting all the meal preps ready for the week and everything. I did try the breakfast pizza. It turned out amazingly. The crust is a lot better than I thought, more of the consistency of regular pizza dough, at least the stiffness. I mean, obviously the consistency isn't going to be the same because it's not dough, it's a big block of cheese. And the chili turned out awesome. I can't wait to have it for lunch tomorrow. But the one thing I was thinking about was, I've been doing this low carb thing for a little while now, and what I'm finding is they pretty much substitute everything with cheese. And so I'm kind of wondering how in the world anyone who's doing low carb actually poops. Because everything is cheese, and so much cheese. Like the pizza dough was cheese, and then I put cheese on top of the pizza, and so I don't know. Good thing I have something to balance it out with the chili. Whew, but I am exhausted. Now I have to sit down and edit this video, and it's 7 o'clock. I probably started about 3:30, somewhere in there, maybe even earlier. I've lost track of time, but I'm glad I did it. Again, I would definitely pre-prep some of that stuff for the breakfast pizza, but it is well worth giving it a try. Have a good evening, my friends. Take care.